Hello strangers, I've randomly decided to make a video after however many years. You'll probably notice that my other stuff isn't even uploaded anymore, because I archived it for now. So, randomly got inspired to do videos again, and for this particular thing, I figured commentary would be an easy and fun thing to do, and hopefully people will be interested. So, that's what I'll be doing today. When it comes to things in Fortnite that people review, you'll see like maybe map changes, skins, things like that, but something I never see reviews on are the different storyline events that Fortnite likes to put on every season or so. I figured, hey, maybe I'll be the first, if I'm actually right, that no one's done it before. Alright, so first off, before the actual event itself, just want to touch on the cinematic. It was very fun to watch, because honestly, I'm just a sucker for the way Fortnite will animate their different cinematics for trailers, skins here and there, things like that. And to get the longest one yet, it's like a little over 3 minutes, it was nice to see. And now, of course, once the action's really getting going, I love the fact that they included the majority of the different collab characters that they brought in this season, since, you know, collabs are canon now in Fortnite. So it's cool that they actually went ahead and threw them in there, so it kind of made it to where it felt like the collabs actually kind of mattered to some degree. And of course, all cool action here and there. And then another nice touch is the fact that when they show Mancake in the cinematic, then they have Kratos come and fight him, and Mancake's ready to take him on right then and there. And I think it's cool how it's kind of like a callback to when they first put Kratos in the game, and they did a smaller cinematic for it. And when Mancake first saw Kratos, he just ran away as terrified. But now here, he's ready to face him head on, which is, you know, attention to detail. In another instance, in the Master Chief trailer, when he was introduced, it just shows Fishstick being terrified of Master Chief just coming out of, you know, a fridge. I mean, I'd be terrified if a random dude in armor popped out of a fridge at a store. But then here in the cinematic, they're shown guns blazing, fighting side by side. It's again like, hey, character development. It's only for a couple seconds, but it's cool to see. And then, of course, just the reveal of the Foundation. It's just cool to see not only just a new member of the Seven, not only the leader, but it's also just cool to see them in cinematic form and not just in your locker or in a still image. But yeah, cinematic, fun to watch. Great how it leads right into the event. And now for the event itself. Now, of course, this is the first event that they've done that isn't live, per se. Rather, it's just there, ready for you as a solo mission whenever you log on. And they even made it an LTM if you want to replay it, which is really cool of them. And now, I want to go off the subject slightly with discussing the Galactus event briefly. Now, the event was cool and very groundbreaking for Fortnite event standards. It definitely changed the game for how they do things, and even influenced this event. However, as cool as it was, something I didn't quite like about it was how hands-on their approach was, with like the whole battle bus section. It didn't really feel like Fortnite, which isn't necessarily that bad of a thing, because it was still cool, but it just felt more like a pseudo-boss fight, or maybe like a ride at an attraction that you can't lose. It keeps going regardless of like how you move. You know, it was cool, but it didn't quite feel right. Now, here in the Zero Crisis finale, it still felt hands-on, but they definitely loosened the leash just a little bit, letting us like have a little more control over what we do. Granted, you still gotta do the same thing anyway, but it still fit regardless. In terms of gameplay, they did everything right, which the Galactus event did wrong, which is cool. Epic's learning, I tell ya. So then, the music. Oh my god, the music. The events may have their ups and downs in terms of quality, but one thing that stays consistently fantastic is the music. Orchestral greatness, every time. And the use of special melodies is always a plus. Now let's see, now this music, now it feels very different from other event music. However, it also feels more like Fortnite than any other. I feel like with the music that they've done for their events over the years, they've slowly kind of found their own identity musically, which is really cool to see. And I think this is, like, it all culminates in this. And, like, you just get so many different moods. Like, you get it all. Like, of course, there's, like, at the start, there's the whole call to action vibe. And then when you turn into, like, the Cluck skin from this season's Battle Pass, the music takes on a somewhat more comedic tone. Then at the end of the event, when you're flying up the spire, I know some of you more observant ones noticed what tune was playing, and it was that one bit from the end live event. It's like that same melody. And like Epic has reused this a couple times for like different points of the song. Like they use it in the Chapter 2 Season 5 story trailer. They use a little bit of the Galactus event music. And so I think this has kind of cemented itself as like the 0 Points theme song, which I think is cool. And it just sounded really nice too, so I mean, that's a plus. And now, the dialogue. It was cool to have this much dialogue in an event, because like, I've always wanted more direct storytelling. And hey, this is exactly it right here. And so, and you know, combined with the music, like this all just felt like the most character-driven event. And yeah, so that everything just came together in a good way. And now, like, the hands-on approach that I mentioned previously, I hope they tone it down more and more, because I honestly liked it better when we were all just simply bystanders watching some reality-changing stuff happen. Like the end and the device are the best examples of that. So moving on from that, you have the event from a visual standpoint. Now, something I forgot to mention before is how during like the different scenes of the cinematic and the event, you can see player-built structures throughout the whole thing, which is a really nice detail. It's like players, or in this case, just people in the loop, fighting as if they would in the game. Like even that one section before you turn into the chicken skin, Cluck, you have a couple of like 90s towers and people shooting from them. So like they've definitely like made it more accurate to how players actually play the game nowadays, compared to like their gameplay trailers and things like that. Because like who builds forts and stands that still? No, people go crazy with building. I'm glad they kind of made it a little more accurate to that. This adds on to the immersion. And of course, the 0 Point doing all of its crazy stuff. It's always just amazing to see, and I was very intrigued when the whole flower thing came up, because just reminded me of Fade from back in Chapter 2, Season 3, with the, you know, like, part of, like, the theme of his design. And now, moving on from that, and is the effects it had on the lore. One thing that's always undeniable about events is how they affect the Fortnite's lore. So for one thing, is just the big question. Who the heck are Geno and the sisters? Now, I think that this is going to somehow be touched upon in the upcoming Batman 0 Point comics. Because, I mean, the 6th and final issue does promise to reveal some kind of mastermind, quote-unquote, the one behind all the reality-shattering events, and will have big implications for both the DC and Fortnite universe. This is very interesting, and it could be this Geno person, or the sisters. Personally, I'm kind of thinking that Geno is the Spire Assassin skin at this season's Tier 100, and the sisters are like all the different guardians at those watchtowers. Although there isn't really much proof behind that, it's kind of just a thought, And as for the effects it had on the game itself, of course, that's all those reality waves coming from the 0 Point during the event. It transformed the island into how we have it today, and I like how it wasn't all at once, like we could slowly see it happening throughout. Like, before the wave, it's like Salty Towers is there, and then surprise, all prehistoric looking buildings the next second. Like, it gives a little more sense of continuity, because, like, between map changes, we don't really see them happen. It's like, one update, they're not there, then the next update, they're there. So it's nice to actually see it happen. It gives just a little more continuity to the game, which is nice. Any little extra touch on the story, even something as just buildings changing, that's good for me. And now, initially I was going to mention how it sucks how the story for seasons in general is only going to be interesting at the very start and the very end. However, this season's not going to be like that because of the Batman 0 Point comics, because they're going to be releasing throughout this season, and it could probably lead to, I don't know, this season ending event. If there even is one. Like, however they'll handle it, I'm sure it'll be cool. So yeah, this is shorter than I expected, but this kind of just sums up like a short review of the Zero Crisis finale event. I might go back and review other events, and maybe like other like discussion related things, not necessarily just Fortnite, but this is just what I'm doing to just kick it off. So thanks for taking the time to click on this video and listen to me ramble, and hopefully this is the kind of content that goes over well with people. That's all I've got for this video, so blah blah blah, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll just see what the next video brings. So yeah, now I'm out of here.